Tomorrow's a big day for us.
Is it?
It is. We're going to host a couple panels at a comic convention that they don't like to mention us.
They don't even want to give us credit.
No.
Nope.
And then they mention all the people that are going to be a part of the panel except us.
Yes. I would like to think it's because we're too big of a deal. You know what I mean?
You don't want to make the guests going feel like, they're under.
Yeah.
Like they're second.
We're such a big deal. If our names were on anything, it would just take up the entire page. You know what I mean?
I get it.
You remember when we first tried to make a logo and it just showed up as a giant E? That wasn't just an E. That was how big our font was.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Yeah. We were everything.
And everyone.
Yes. But you know what? It's time for the enthusiast.
Yes! Oh my god!
What's up, everybody? This is Will Zabo, one of your hosts of The Enthusiast, alongside the one-armed snake, Jesse Nazario.
That is not a sexual joke either. No, that's true. Oh, and he fell again. Oh, I'm going to have to lay him down. His arm went away. What's up, man? How you doing?
Not much. Pretty good. Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Had a decent week. Still waiting for my TV to come back. Getting repaired as we speak.
Well, hey, at least you took the initial steps.
To get it repaired, yeah. I want it back, though.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, standard's not the way I want to go in life anymore.
Yeah. I came to your house and I was kind of like, ooh, it's like I'm back in a third world country.
It is. It's tough. You know how, like, aliens used to, back in the day, only, like, abduct rednecks and stuff? Bet you the first time they abducted, like, the first, like, liberal hipster, they're like, we're never going back to a redneck. This is what we want from now on. That's how I felt about my 4K TV. I don't want to go backwards.
I don't blame you, man. And people try to talk you out of...
Getting it repaired, man. Fixed. And then my favorite is people are like, well, I can't even see the difference. You're a liar.
You don't want to admit the difference.
You don't want to admit the difference.
Let me take off my windbreaker so that we don't hear some swooshing the whole podcast.
It is very windy down here. I can understand you needing to wear one.
Well, I wanted to make sure that if anything...
In the basement where we record our dungeon.
Well, I didn't want the wind to ruin the podcast, but I thought I could shield us.
The swishing was enough to destroy anything. Most stuff.
How's your week been?
It's good. I got South Park on Monday, because they released at 9 on Monday. You like the fact that they've been doing that lately, the 9 o'clock releases?
You mean, that's retail stores, right?
Yes.
I mean, they've been obviously doing it to combat digital. Because obviously everyone that buys games digitally, they get it at midnight every week. You know what I mean? Every game is a midnight release if you go digital.
Right.
And I feel like that's something retailers are trying to combat, especially GameStop, because it's an argument that people can make. It's like, hey, I really don't want to have to come out again on Tuesday, especially if you work. You don't want to go home, go back out just to pick up your game. Why? When it's already installed. Like, I go to work, I come home, my game's installed, ready to go. If I, for some reason, didn't have work Tuesday, then I could just play for Monday night. So I think that's a good way to combat it. I don't know if it's really going to work, because right now is that time where kids are back in school. Not that South Park's a kid game anyway.
Yeah, but there was kids there to pick it up.
Yeah.
Bad parenting 101.
What do you think? Do you think it's a good thing? You think it's something...
I mean, I'm not going to complain about it because, I get to pick it up at 9. That's pretty neat. It's weird to me because, we both worked retail and we knew how strict they were about those midnight, rules and everything.
Especially if it's a mall store, because they're paying money for that mall to stay open a little later.
But, yeah, so it's odd that they can release it at 9. But, overall, though, I'm glad about it. I have noticed a decline in people showing up for the events. Back in the day for a midnight opening at GameStop, everybody was there. You know what I mean?
The last midnight that I went to that was crazy was Modern Warfare 2. And that line was past, in our mall, we have a Marshall's, which is way down the hall from the GameStop in our mall. And the line went out the door. Past the Marshall's, out the door of the mall.
Yeah. I remember I was actually working at GameStop for Halo 3, and there was a ridiculous midnight
Halo 3 was
delay.
another one, yeah.
I think I lost a finger. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And I slowly, even when like I worked at GameStop, I slowly kept seeing a decline in people going to midnights. Things like Madden, which always used to have a great turnout, now you only got like 20 people.
Yeah, it's not the same, and I think digital copies have a lot of 24-hour stores make a big
Walmart.
difference too. I mean, like you said, you want to talk about digital, you always get a midnight release. Walmart always has a midnight release,
Yeah.
depending on which Walmart.
It's also nice too though with digital because like you can buy one of those not very popular games that you know they wouldn't hold a midnight for, like Sonic Forces. You know, I'm sure you're a big Sonic fan, but unless another big game comes out that same day, they're not going to do a midnight for it.
No.
Whereas if you got it digitally, you get it midnight anyway.
True.
But
So I picked up South Park. I'm really enjoying it. Me and you went two different directions. I started the Fractured Butthole, really enjoyed it, but I wanted to finish Stick of Truth.
yeah.
So once that fully installed, I went right to Stick of Truth to play that. You were just playing Fractured Butthole.
Well, I had Stick of Truth over a year ago for PS4 because if you pre-ordered it digitally, they gave you Stick of Truth right then and there. I pre-ordered the game back when it was first announced, so I already did Stick of Truth on PS4. You wanted to redo it though before you got to the Fractured Butthole.
Especially, and this is not a spoiler because it's right in the beginning of the game, you actually play as the same character from
Yep.
Stick of Truth.
As long as you make them the same, you're
Yeah.
still the same new kid technically.
Yeah, well, the parents are the same and everything, so that really made me want to go back to Stick of Truth and
Yeah.
finish that.
I made myself a little darker this time, so it kind of bothered me. But I'm a little dark now because I work outside all the time, so I felt that it just worked with the progression of my character. So let's talk about the Stick of Truth because it's been a little while. I'm sure since you've played it.
The hardest thing about going back to playing it is that, like I said, I got to about 2 hours of Fractured Butthole. That combat is so much better than Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
And that makes it a little difficult to go backwards. But besides that, I really like what they did. The game runs beautifully on the PS4. It's gorgeous. That's why I keep putting the screenshots up. And it's a South Park game. It's potentially these little paper cutouts walking around, and it's still a really pretty game.
Yeah.
But if you've never played Stick of Truth, this is an awesome opportunity to play it, and I still think it's probably one of the best, most underrated RPGs.
I agree.
And
it's the Stick of Truth is packaged inside. It's not like it was a pre-order bonus.
Yeah,
it technically is like a day one edition type
so
thing.
if you can get it early inside, and I was wondering why they did that instead of the receipt or anything like that, and then made me realize technically people could get Fractured Butthole if they had printed on the receipt, download Stick of Truth, and then bring back Fractured Butthole. So it was intelligent putting it in the actual case.
Or GameStop employees, we know this. You can just print any code without even having to purchase the game technically.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're probably like, oh, people are just going to print the codes for themselves, not even buy our game.
Yeah.
I agree. It was smart.
But yeah, it's really good. Like I said, now I did notice there is a jump in quality of looks from Stick of Truth to Fractured Butthole.
I noticed that too, and I actually didn't notice that first when I was playing Fractured Butthole because I haven't played Stick of Truth, like I said, in now a year. But when I came to your house, now I didn't know one of two things. I didn't know if maybe it was because your TV now is different than what it was,
Thank you, jerk.
or if it really was, there is a quality difference in the look.
No, it's definitely because, like I said, I played Fractured Butthole, and like the characters move better, the movement's better. Like there's a kind of a jerkiness in Stick of Truth that's not there.
They do like the hop.
Yeah, that's not there in Fractured Butthole, which is really nice. So I'm actually looking forward to finishing Stick of Truth so I can play Fractured Butthole.
I can't put it down.
So what is making me really happy is seeing all the little hints to Fractured Butthole that was in Stick of Truth. So I'm guessing this was their plan originally to continue with Fractured Butthole. But I think it's really neat.
So let's move on because I can't stop playing Fractured Butthole. Let's give our review of the Fractured Butthole real quick. Visuals.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it's based off South Park, which is not a show known for its looks.
Yeah.
But it is gorgeous.
Looks so much like the show. My girlfriend walks in and she literally thought we were watching an episode sometimes. And she even said sometimes, she's like, I can't watch you play this because it feels weird because it's not the show, it's you're playing it. And she thought it was cool that because she didn't see the Stick of Truth. This was her first time even seeing that there was a game. She was like, wow, everything's mapped out too because in the show, they just kind of teleport places. You don't really have a layout of how the town was.
I think that's one thing that I do appreciate about that game is making an actual layout for the town.
Yeah. Now, sound quality.
I love this goes for both of them. I love the music in them games. They're really, the music is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself at work humming the music for those South Park games. That's insane. Because literally, Stick of Truth is Cartman going, yeah, in the back.
Yeah.
Like, and same thing with
Two hands.
But same thing with Fractured. Well, like, they has a really good soundtrack, man.
Fractured Butthole, though, they definitely put more songs that were actually from the show. Like, you have the Gay Fish song, you have Where Has My Country Gone? But it's just great. You know what I mean? It really brings a smile to my face every time I hear it.
The look and the music just is both such a fan service to the actual fans of the show. And I love South Park. I've never grown out of it or anything like that. And the references right away from starting the game, I'm like, this is amazing and hilarious.
Now, one thing I did, let's get into just stuff about the game and gameplay. I guess we'll talk about gameplay first before we really get into our opinion of things in the game. What do you think about the gameplay?
Like I said, the combat is a lot better than Stick of Truth. I actually was not looking forward to the grid-based. Because, you know, I've never been big into that. And it actually works extremely well for the game.
Yeah.
It turns it from the original one, which was just by chance RPG, to actually strategizing, putting your characters where you want. And I really actually like that system. Besides that, no complaints about it.
I really like the combat system, too. I think it's actually really smart, too, that, like, you know, you pick your team, and a character like Cartman, the Coon, he has an ability where he can dash through up to 2 enemies, give them bleed, and he ends up on the other side. Well, the game also has it that if you hit an enemy and they bump into another enemy or your teammate, they get an extra deal of damage. So it's just nice to like see the field and be like, all right, I can start this off by sending him on this side, bring Super Craig up, which has the dumbest costume. All he did was tape a piece of paper with an S on it.
Yep.
But I love it. I also really like that the game, because we talked about this a little bit while you were playing Stick of Truth, it doesn't require you to have certain gear on.
Yeah.
All the gear is aesthetic. Your gear now are your DNA slots where you put the things inside yourself.
Yeah, but that was one thing I had my complaint about Stick of Truth was, and we were talking about it. I have the monk outfit on because it's the best statted right now. But my favorite outfit in that game was the SWAT team outfit. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you give up some hit points for, you know, aesthetics? But I think that's really neat that they kind of did away with that. And it almost feels like a proper sequel to a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They also made it that you can change your sex, your race, and recustomize your character whenever you want in this game. If you want to change how you look, you just go over to the plastic surgery place. If you want to change your sex and all, you go to your guidance counselor.
Makes sense.
And he'll ask you questions like, "What do you consider yourself?"
Yeah.
type of thing.
And South Park does not know to stay away from something that could be considered taboo.
No. It's so funny because I don't even want to say it because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But there's just so many funny moments. I did miss collecting Chim Pokemon in this one. You're not collecting Chim Pokemon because technically you got them all in the Stick of Truth. What you're
Chim Pokemon.
Yeah, I missed that charm. That's what I missed. I missed that little chime that you get every time you pick one up. This time you get member berries from that memory episode. And they're funny too though because they're like, "Oh, you remember this? Yeah, I remember." It's so great. And it's funny though because I don't think I've been this into a game since Horizon Zero Dawn and probably before that The Last of Us.
You know what? I can agree with you. Absolutely. This is, you know me, I usually play like 3 games at a time.
Well, I was, and then this has completely been out.
And it's funny that South Park has literally been just fooling my entire week up. To the point where me and you had this discussion earlier. I wanted to try the Marvel vs. Capcom characters for this podcast, and I literally played it for, I had a video up for 10 minutes, and then I was like, all right, South Park's coming right back in.
Yeah. I didn't even try the new characters because as soon as I put it on, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like doing this. I was playing Battle Chasers, Shadow of War, and Evil Within 2 so that I could review those. And then as soon as I started playing Fractured Butthole, I was like, I can't go back to them now. I need to do this. But so what would you say? Is this a must buy?
Oh, this is a must buy, first day, must own. I absolutely, as soon as you can, because of the fact it comes with Stick of Truth right now.
Technically, you are getting 2 games with
Yeah.
the purchase of 1.
And both of them, in my opinion, are well worth $60 in value. I would buy Stick of Truth for full price again.
Yeah.
Just because how much I love that game.
I completely agree. I definitely think this is a must-buy, especially if you're a South Park fan and you like Stick of Truth. It's such a step up, and I didn't really think that they could top Stick of Truth. It's a little weird to me that most other review sites haven't really been giving it as good of scores as Stick of Truth, but I think a lot of them are forgetting what Stick of Truth was compared to what this is now.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, too, weren't ready for Stick of Truth, and I think the initial shock was like, what? Like, wow. And since we played Stick of Truth, we were holding such a high standard for this one. That's why I'm going to give it such a high score, because even as much as I loved Stick of Truth, I played this. 1, I immediately started laughing. 2, I was blown away with the actual game.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that, like, in a South Park video game to be like, wow, this is actually a really well-made, put-together game.
It's so addicting. It's so fun.
Yeah. And what's fun about this, and it's the same thing as Stick of Truth, is you literally want to try every door, every chest, every crevice, look in every hole to see if there's a potential hilarious scene in it or something
Poop
like
in
that.
every toilet.
You know what I mean? You literally will want to do things like that in the game. I also prefer the pooping minigame in this. In Fracture
I was going to say, I forgot all about that. In Fracture Butthole, they turned pooping into a minigame.
Yeah.
And now there's a trophy tied to pooping in every toilet. And I was happy this time because I think there was a trophy in the first game too for pooping in every toilet. But they didn't let you know which ones you've already been in. This time they put little check marks at the top.
Next
to
to
let
as
you
well,
know,
yeah.
Yep, to let you know, hey, you've been in this toilet.
Yeah, there's a mini game in Stick of Truth, but remember in Stick of Truth you had to tap X really hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't like. I never liked the repeated play, but I do like the way you have to. It feels a little more like pinching the load off in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, so disgusting.
So score-wise, 1 to 10.
9.5 I'm giving it.
Okay.
Only reason it's not getting a perfect 10 is because I'm not complaining about the grid system. I just feel like they what's the word I'm looking for? They probably could have polished the fighting system a little better. Just this midge. I still really much enjoy it, but yeah, I would. Had that been a little more polished, I would have given it a perfect 10.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 9.5 as well. As much as I do like the grid system, I do feel like some of the characters at least seem a little similar. I don't really need to keep a lot of the same ones out. It's kind of the same problem I always had with Mario plus Rabbids. But I love this game so much. It's so funny. It's so fun. You get like these moments where you're just like, wow, they did that.
Yep.
And not every grid battle is the same either. I had one where it was an objective to run away from what was coming at me, and I had to keep moving each turn as far as I can before this thing jumps on us.
And it's what changes up a game like that and keeps it fresh is always very appreciative. But I'll probably play this all the way until the 27th. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you'll be getting Mario Odyssey, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you getting Wolfenstein 2, or are you going to pass on Wolfenstein?
I'm going to pass on Wolfenstein only because I know Mario Odyssey is probably going to be the one.
Yeah, I'm going to have Wolfenstein and Assassin's Creed. So
it's exciting. Got a lot of good games coming out.
Too many.
And then next month we got a bunch of games as well.
Yeah. But you know what? I think it's about that time
for
the news. We have quite a bit of movie news. I think a bit of it goes hand in hand. We have a lot of Marvel, I guess I should say.
Marvel's popular. I've heard a few people like it.
Only a couple.
Yeah,
I would say a handful. You know, you don't want to bank on them, but
I feel like this is gonna go away soon.
So we got our second trailer. I'm sorry, second trailer.
This is the second trailer
for Black Panther.
This is the first trailer I liked.
Yeah, I think this trailer definitely showed a lot more of the movie, brought me in a better direction with the movie. But what did you think?
I thought the trailer was amazing.
Okay.
I really did I do have a lot of complaints about the trailer, of course. But I did think overall it was a really good cut trailer. And even if I don't think a movie looks amazing, I'll always appreciate a good cut trailer with a good song. And this was a good cut trailer with a good song in it. Didn't give too much away. I did like the direction. I really like the actor who's playing Black Panther.
Me too. I do like him a lot too.
Overall, I like the way the trailer was set up. And I do like the look of it, kind of. I'm just kind of worried because although this trailer looked very different than a lot of Marvels, it did have a very Iron Man 1, Doctor Strange-esque feel to it.
Yeah, it felt very similar, but also very different at the same time.
That's exactly where I was trying to
I loved how they brought Wakanda to life. What I will say, though, is I'm a little confused about the layout of Wakanda. Because I always thought that Black Panther, in his city, everyone knows he is the Black Panther. You know what I mean? There is no secret. It looked like his base is separate from Wakanda, the city. And I always, if I could be wrong, I thought his base looked over Wakanda.
I don't know.
Because if I remember correctly, the Wakanda had the giant panther looking over the city, which
Right.
is his base. So I'm a little confused with the layout because when we saw the big panther, I didn't see the city underneath or anything resembling a city. It looked like just a forest. Not that that's a big deal. It doesn't really matter. It's just a little weird.
Do you think it's weird that they made his base a giant panther? Even in this movie, I expect it's kind of like very Thundercats, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, I think that that's kind of his signature thing. It'd be like having, the Avengers Tower without the giant A on it.
Man.
But one thing that you and me both agree on that's a little weird is that Marvel really is not learning from their villains.
Never. But with that being said, we had this discussion. People also aren't showing them with their wallets that they're not learning from their villains.
I agree. We had the problem with Iron Man where pretty much all three Iron Man movies were...
He fought an evil Iron Man.
Yeah.
Ant-Man fought an evil Ant-Man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Doctor Strange fought another wizard. Like, their villains are always just evil versions of themselves. So when I saw the trailer for Black Panther, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. We're going to get Claw as the villain.
It's literally another Black Panther, except purple.
Gold. Gold he looks like.
Oh, okay. I thought he had purple lining. Or is that Black Panther's second suit? Because I did realize he has a second
suit. Yeah,
okay, because I did realize he had a second suit.
So it looks like he's got the gold-yellow look, which I actually prefer, because, green and yellow are my two favorite colors, so I'm like, I actually really like that gold suit. And then looks like our Black Panther is going to have the purple-black. My issue, though, is like you said, once again, it's the same Marvel cousin, an evil version of himself.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got an amazing actor with Michael B. Jordan playing him.
I thought he was going to be more of a good guy, though. When I first heard that he was casted, I didn't think he was going to be the bad guy. I thought that they were going to try to bring him in as a good guy and be someone that they kind of keep going.
I knew he had to have been cast for a significant role only because of how popular he is now. Like, he's starting to actually sell movies. And like you made that joke the other day, Marvel's now officially stole both
Human Torches.
Yeah. But that's my issue with the trailer. As great as it looked, and it did look amazing, it on that same count looks like every other Marvel movie.
And it's a little weird to me that people are literally... I see people on the internet saying, this is going to be the best Marvel movie.
It's Marvel, man.
And I kind of feel like this is something that's said every Marvel movie.
Well, it's like that SNL skit where they were like, after Guardians of the Galaxy did well, Marvel realizes they can literally put anything out. And it's like, here's 4 chairs. And it was just 4 chairs coming down. And that's true. Like, they can, whatever they want to put out, they're going to put out, and it's going to, sell. Am I saying this movie looks bad? No. I'm actually really excited for Black Panther.
I do think it looks good. I do. My problem is, though, it doesn't look like Marvel has learned anything still in the amount of time.
With that being said, though, I didn't see too much comedy in the trailer, so I was actually really excited about that.
I agree with that. Or at least not that we've seen.
True. Now, what do you... That's another thing that's weird, though. Do you think they're saving Andy Serkis? Because he's in this movie, and you do see him with the other villain in the movie.
I think he's the one pulling the strings more.
Okay, do you think they're just... Because he's kind of a big actor.
Saving him.
Big actor just to kind of throw away as a side villain. So you think they're saving him?
I do think they're saving him probably for like the second or third Black Panther movie.
Oh, I will complain about that. The claw hand he has in the movie looks so stupid. Did you see it?
No, actually. I must have missed it.
In the trailer, you see him. It looks like his regular arm, and then these 2 fingers split, and you see the gun come out in the middle.
Oh.
1, it looked creepy. I was like, oh, what's wrong with that? 2, why? Why ruin such an iconic thing? Like, the whole, like, dish he had for an arm was what made Claw. Like, you know what I mean? Why ruin that? I don't understand. But, hey, you know what? Marvel.
Yeah.
Do what you want.
Oh, how'd you feel about the Jungle Book scene? I mean, the Lion King scene.
I really couldn't stop thinking. I think it's cool. We mentioned earlier.
Looked like Mufasa was going to form in the sky.
I really thought like Simba, wrong sky. Oh, my bad.
I'll come back.
Your dad's on the line. Yeah, like it is weird, and it's now that Doctor Strange exists in this universe,
they can go that
direction. I think it started out with Ant-Man when he went into that other realm.
Yes.
Because it shrunk so small, and Doctor Strange picked it up. So I feel like Marvel can start doing that and start doing the Mystic and Ghost and Otherworld.
Because Black Panther, technically, his character is all of the Black Panthers that have ever been a Panther. Because there's always been a Black Panther in Africa, and apparently, I think that's what they're going to do with that scene. I think they're going to tie in that he's finally able to tap into all the other Panthers because they give him strength, technically. He gets all of their feats and stuff like that.
Now, do you think they're going to do a flashback to when his father was the Panther? Only reason I do is you've seen that scene where he's taking out all the guys, it looks like in a tank. That, to me, looks like it's back in the day.
It does look a little more out of place.
And it does look like a different Panther suit. So I'm hoping they'll get a little into his father's background.
That would be nice.
Because in the comics, that's literally where Black Panther picked up. His father was a Black Panther, and he died the first issue. And that's kind of where we did. And I feel like having his father just die like that in Civil War, kind of like, even if you say, hey, he was a former Black Panther, it's not going to really do anything,
Yeah. I do think the problem is, though, some people, it probably won't matter, to be honest. I do think it's touching a lot closer to Ant-Man, though, where there was already an Ant-Man, now here's the second Ant-Man. Oh, there was already a Black Panther, here's the second Black Panther. Not to say that I don't think people are going to care, obviously, because it's Marvel, and I don't think people care anymore.
Well, I mean, we'll see with this, because this movie is, would you say it's risky? There's a lot of black actors in this movie, and it's a very black
I think there's one white guy.
Yeah, the villain. So, and I'm not saying that's a terrible thing, but if you look at Hollywood as an industry, they'll always say, black movies aren't those big blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
So, in the first, I'm going to bring this up. The first trailer was very this is a very black movie. This one kind of pulled away from that. You think they're afraid?
I hope not.
You know what I mean?
I hope not. I hope Marvel. I think if anyone's willing to take that chance, it's probably Disney. I mean, let's be honest, they have so much money.
My whole thing is I want that beautiful balance like Wonder Woman had. Wonder Woman was that first big blockbuster superhero movie with a woman in it, but it didn't ram it down our throats. It wasn't, hey, a woman. It was a good superhero movie that starred a woman. That's what I would want for Black Panther. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can make it with that hip hop and that really urban vibe. That's cool. Don't jam it down my throat. That this is going to be.
Don't make it feel like it's only for that audience. I agree.
And I'm hoping, that's the way it goes. But it does look like a great movie.
Yeah, moving on to Marvel, though. Thor. Reviews have been coming out for it.
Ragnarok?
Yes.
Well, you mean Thor 3, the canned laughter?
So we've been getting...
So how many reviews you watch? Because the first couple ones, I was like, I don't believe this. I don't believe it. So I watched about 2 more.
I watched 3.
I watched 4.
3 total.
I watched IGN, which is one of the ones I trust.
I did IGN as well.
And then I watched 3 other guys on YouTube, which I'm not going to plug. So I'm not going to give them any business. But I'm going to give you the overall sense from the reviews. The movie was mediocre to average to decent.
Yeah, they haven't seemed like nothing amazing.
The 2 or 3 out of the 4 reviews did say it was their favorite Thor movie. But in my mind, that's not saying much.
And that was one of the things I put in the notes. Thor just seems like that character that... I don't know if this is a Thor thing or if it's slowly becoming a Marvel thing. You know what I mean? Because Doctor Strange didn't score very well either. And while I really like Doctor Strange, I felt like the third act of Doctor Strange was where it kind of fell short.
Right.
And I'm not really liking what I hear about Thor Ragnarok.
Well, the reviews, and we both talked about this today, is the reviews all said this is probably one of the funnier Marvel movies. And that's what kind of annoys me. It's like they're really focusing on humor in all Marvel movies now. Like, that was our biggest complaint about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The first one was naturally funny. The second one felt forced. And it kind of ruined the film. So, do you think that Marvel has just kind of lost they don't know what makes a good superhero movie anymore? Or do you think that they just keep throwing the same things at us?
See, it's weird because Thor Ragnarok the comic is a dark comic.
Yeah.
You know, it's really dark. And when they teased Thor Ragnarok in Avengers 2 with that whole wishing well scene for some odd reason, it looked like it was going to be really dark.
Yeah.
And even some of the early trailers looked that way.
Yeah.
And then when we heard that it was kind of going to be a combination of Thor Ragnarok and Planet Hulk, it's like, well, Planet Hulk is another pretty...
Dark,
yeah, it's pretty serious. Like, while we know the Avengers aren't the ones who sent Hulk into space this time, because that's how it was in the comic. Tony Stark and all of them agreed that, you know, Bruce Banner was too dangerous. They sent him out into space. That's still a serious subject, you know what I mean? The whole thing. He gets captured. He's forced to combat in these arenas. And it just kind of feels like everything's a joke. Even when Thor... And Thor's a pretty serious character in the comics. But they kind of turned him into like this joke. Like the whole time while he's fighting in the arena and he sees Hulk, he's like, oh, I worked with that guy.
Yeah.
It's like, Thor doesn't talk like that.
No, or they definitely turned him in Eric from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Serious character turned to comic relief only eventually.
It's almost like they turned him into the dumb guy too, because like...
Yeah, well, that was my reference. You get it? Jeez.
I did.
Calm it down, buddy. But my big issue, and another thing I heard in one of the reviews, is the movie apparently never gives you time to realize what's going on in the scene. Never, like, catch your breath, relax. It just jumps from one colorful scene to the next. And they said that it kind of ruins the seriousness of the movie. Like, this is about Asgard getting conquered and everything, and because it just goes so quickly through the movie, you never have time to be like, oh, that sucks. You know what I mean? So...
And that could be because they're trying to fit too much in one movie, you know? A lot of people said that about Batman v Superman. Well, a lot of people, their complaint about Batman v Superman was that it was too dark.
Yeah.
And too serious all the time, but...
My issue is, do you remember the first trailer for Avengers 2, Age of Ultron?
Looks so dark.
It was such a dark tone. I first watched the trailer, it had that Pinocchio
Such a
song in
creepy
it.
way it was sung,
And
too.
it was like, I remember thinking like, oh man, this is going to be such a serious movie. And then when you go see it, it was like Age of Ultron light. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there was never a real threat ever appearing in that movie.
And Ultron's one of Marvel's big villains.
He's killed the Avengers multiple times in the comics, you know?
Yeah. And I didn't really like his look, because I feel like Ultron in general looks really cool. So.
He's very simple. If they would have just kept the same design.
Yeah. I don't know why they decided to make him look like a Transformer that Michael Bay made.
Maybe Michael Bay paid for it. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Advertising.
Michael Bay just showed up on set and was like, listen, you make him look like this, they're going to love you in Japan. All right? You're welcome. But no, I agree with you. I do, but I am disappointed because originally I was looking forward to Thor Ragnarok. And who knows? I might go see it and really like it. Guardians 2 got pretty terrible reviews, and although I didn't like the movie as much as I liked the first one, I didn't hate it either.
I agree.
So I'm definitely going to give this a chance, obviously. My big issue is if I walk in and get that same Marvel movie over, you know, and it's...
I'm just hoping I don't leave with the same problem I felt while I was watching Guardians. While I was watching Guardians 2, a lot of the times I was sitting there and I was like, when is this going to end? Not that it was a bad movie, but I just got so tired of the joke after joke after joke. And I'm like, can I just have a moment? And I didn't even laugh anymore, because it got to a point where I was like, it's not funny. Just please have a serious moment where I can feel like there actually is something bad happening.
Now, my question to you is... does this work for Marvel? Because at the end of the day, DC tried something very different. They made a very dark superhero movie in 2015. Was that when Batman v Superman came out?
Yeah.
And people hated it. They panned the movie. You know what I mean? Dark's not what's in. They don't like it. So do you think Marvel's got the recipe that this is continued success, or do they need to change the formula?
I think Marvel had it. Because I do think things like the first Avengers... perfect. You know, it had that perfect balance of humor, seriousness.
What's it? Winter Soldier, same deal.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
It had that moment where it was funny. Like, I still, it wasn't meant to be funny, but I still laugh when I see Winter Soldier and Steve Rogers goes into the elevator with all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents slowly keep coming in, and he asked them, he's like, does anyone want to get out before this goes down? And I chuckled because I was like, he knows, and you know what's about to go down.
I agree. And, you know, that's... But once again, my wife mentioned it beautifully when she said it's that natural funny. When, you know what I mean? The movie just naturally is funny.
Yeah.
The chemistry, whatever. It does hurt to be forced on it. Now, I don't. Here's another issue I have, and I complain about this for DC too, is the fact that Marvel constantly has to set up for their next phase of movies, hurting them on telling an individual story.
I do think so. And here's why. Because our favorite Marvel movies are the ones that can kind of stand on their own.
Absolutely. Winter Soldier, Ant-Man,
Yeah,
and
the
Guardians
first
of the
Guardians.
Galaxy. Yep.
Exactly. Those are our three favorites. We've said it on this podcast numerous times. I think the only difference is you and me kind of move them around. Because Winter Soldier is my number one.
Guardians is mine.
Guardians is yours.
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man's number two for me, and then it's Guardians.
Yeah.
But I think Black Panther has that potential. I hope that that's what they do with it. And Wonder Woman was another one where Wonder Woman didn't set up for anything else.
No, and it's funny. These are the ones that are really successful reviews and people love, and it's because they stand on their own. I know I've mentioned this 1,000 times, but one of the reasons Christopher Nolan's trilogy of Batman movies were so good is even though he knew he was going to make multiple ones, he hit every film as this is the only one I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let me start a story and end a story. That's it. Boom.
Yeah. And at the end of the first one, he gave a little tease with the Joker card.
Yeah.
And, that's just how it was.
And I really feel like if Marvel would do that more often, just focus on one story instead of... And that's why I feel like watching... We've mentioned this before. When we first saw the trailer for Thor Ragnarok, I said, this is how they're going to set the Guardians of the Galaxy up in this universe. And, of course, the first trailer we get to Infinity War is Thor meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I knew that just looking at Thor's trailer. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
The thing that was supposed to be fun about Infinity War is you're bringing all these crazy stories that were so branched out together now for the first time. And that's what made Marvel movies Phase 1 so good. What made Avengers so good is...
They had to come together that normally wouldn't.
Yeah, and it was all these separate stories. You watched Iron Man. There was little cameos in the films, but not enough where it felt like...
But that's what usually the end of credit scene were. Yeah. And now we get 5 ends of credit scenes, and some of them have nothing to do with future movies or even the current movie. I get an end of credit scene where Captain America comes on...
Captain America comes on, eh?
And Captain America comes on... I'm sorry, I got distracted by the whelping. Or why, I don't know what it was. But Captain America comes on and says, oh, you were waiting for something? What were you waiting for? That's silly. And it's like, he just talks about patience. And it's like, I get it. We're waiting here for an end of credit scenes. We're waiting because you always do it. Just give me what I want and go on. Yeah. I don't need 5. I don't need stupid, hilarious things because your whole movie is that now.
Yeah.
At least give me something serious at the end.
It is really, really... It's nothing.
Nope.
We know the actress.
Yeah.
We know she's supposed to be a big deal. We also know her movie takes place in the 90s.
Yes, the 1990s.
1990s. Thanks.
No problem.
As opposed to the 1890s.
I didn't want anyone to...
No, she comes back from the 1890s. She churned butter and everything.
Could be worse, the 1790s.
So, this is good. What do you think? They're going to freeze her character, or she doesn't age or something? Because obviously,
Well, the 90s isn't too far back.
Brie Larson is like 12, okay? They're going to have to explain why she looks 14 in 2017 if she...
They're just going to say that there's 2 of them, and that the first one was then, and that there's a new one. Let's be honest, that's what they're doing.
They just happen to look like the same actress?
Yes.
I don't like it.
Nova's another one that can't seem to get a movie. And he kind of seems like someone that would really fit in, this war.
In the Guardians. You know what I would like to see, actually? Do you remember Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yes.
He teamed up with Luke Cage, or it was Power Man in that show. Nova, don't remember the girl.
Iron Fist.
It was Iron Fist, and then with Spider-Man. I think that would be really cool to see that kind of team up again.
I wouldn't mind that either.
You know what I mean?
Or even like the young Nova, because there is a new Nova in the comics as well.
There's a new Nova?
Yeah.
You went over my Nova?
Yeah, there's a second one now.
Okay. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's better than 3 Captain Americas, right?
Or 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
So do you think Nova would be a shoe-in for the Guardians of the Galaxy fit in there, or would you try to fit him in somewhere else?
I mean, you already kind of put him in with Guardians. You introduced the Nova Corps already. You could easily bring Nova in, but...
You know what? They could give him their own TV series, like Punisher, Daredevil, all that, you know what I mean?
No.
You don't like it?
No. Because they don't ever tie into the movies.
Did you see the trailer for the new Punisher TV series, though?
No, I didn't. I did hear though that it got delayed again.
Series did get delayed. Trailer looks
Really?
yeah. I'm excited only because I really like Punisher, but the trailer looks so like what I liked about him in season 2 of Daredevil was I felt like he was going against like realistic like mob bosses. This one it's like this big conspiracy, like
Too much.
too much.
Too much. All right, let's move on. Last bit of Marvel news. Thankfully,
Is it Marvel though?
it's not Disney Marvel,
There it
but
is.
it is Marvel.
It's Fox Marvel.
Yes. So Gambit has its release date. It is going to come out on Valentine's Day.
Ooh, guarantee it's gonna be bad.
Now, do you think? Now, here's what I was thinking though. They did advertise Deadpool as a love movie.
I think you can do that, get away with that in Deadpool though.
You don't think you could do that with Gambit? I mean,
No.
he's the suave French guy.
Nah. First off, I think it's just the dumbest thing in the world to have a Gambit movie.
I agree,
Okay.
especially since we haven't seen a Gambit in the X-Men universe since what?
Wolverine
Origin. That's right.
Oh, it was so
And
bad.
it wasn't even the same Gambit that we're getting because Channing Tatum is going to be Gambit.
I just think I think he's an overrated character. There goes the hate comments. Bring him in, okay?
I'm not a big Gambit fan either.
Number 2, I don't understand why certain characters would need their own film. Wolverine 100% makes sense to me. Yeah.
I agree.
Obviously, he needs his own movie. If you did a Magneto origin story, that would make sense to
Ooh,
me.
especially with how well I think Michael Fassbender has been playing
You know
the
what I mean?
character.
And if you want to get technical, that's what First Class was. Magneto and Professor
Xavier.
X origin story. But Gambit, why? He, like you said, one, he hasn't been introduced in this X-Men universe at all properly. And now, thanks to First Class, or not First Class,
Origin.
Not Origins.
Deadpool?
Days of Future Past, that for Origins never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, and I guess that's why you can get away with telling a new Gambit story. But, come on.
I also feel like personally Channing Tatum's a little too buff to be Gambit. I always thought of Gambit as like this toned, thin guy.
I could see that. I don't know. And who's he going to fight in the movie? And once again, I know people love him, but his power isn't that impressive.
You don't think so?
He can convert energy into inanimate objects.
Yeah, but he makes them explode. I thought it was cool. Did you ever see X-Men? What was not the original animated series, the second one where they were in high school? What was that one?
X-Men Evolution, is that it?
I thought it was Evolution, but I feel like that's not it.
So, I did like
We'll
that
say
series.
that I liked it too. But when they introduced the Horsemen, Gambit was one of the Horsemen.
Yeah.
That was the first time we saw
It
Gambit.
was him, Colossus, Pyro, and who was the fourth one? Quicksilver, right?
Yes. No, Angel.
Was it Angel?
I believe it was Angel.
It might have been Angel.
Because I think it was Archangel that was there. Because I remember he was technically like the only one that I was like, he's the only one that they have there that was an actual Horseman in the original animated.
I did really like Gambit in that TV series.
I
as
did
well.
too, and I liked that Gambit used his power differently than what he did in the original animated series. Because all he did in the original was throw these cards,
Playing
you know what I mean?
cards, yeah.
But in that one, I remember he jumped and touched a bus that was moving real quick to hit Apocalypse, and it just like blew up because they do all turn on Apocalypse.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But to be honest, for them doing a romantic comedy, no. The only people I seeing this Gambit movie were like those guys I hated in high school, the ones that all did CrossFit. You know what I mean?
Gambit's the best X-Men.
And they talk about everybody's bro, like, yeah, bro, this Gambit movie is gonna be wicked, smart, cool, man. Like, so I'm not gonna see it. I don't care to see it.
I probably won't either.
You know what? Let me rephrase it. If the trailer blows me away, and I'm like, wow. then I'll
If
see it.
you make me eat my words, Fox,
But to me, the best way to have introduced Gambit
would have been in an X-Men movie.
or Deadpool.
Yeah.
That is, you literally made Colossus so popular in this Deadpool movie that they just wrote him in to the next X-Men movie again.
Yeah.
And the actor that originally played him is coming back. They literally wrote him in because how popular Deadpool made Colossus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been the smartest way to introduce Gambit. And then if he got his own popularity, then give him his own movie. But obviously, we're calling it a Gambit movie. To me, there are obviously going to be a lot of X-Men characters in it that we
I would
haven't
hope
seen.
so.
You know?
See, but I feel like there's so many other X-Men characters that would deserve a movie before Gambit.
I agree with you. But I'm hoping, like Wolverine Origins did, they're not great. But when they introduce a lot of X-Men characters that we hadn't seen yet. we got to see Blob in there. We got to see
Toad. Or no, Toad wasn't in that one.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
He was in the first X-Men movie.
The one that controlled technology with his mind. You know what I mean? We got to see. What I'm really excited about in this game movie, the only thing that I'm actually excited about with Days of Future Past changing the timeline to the point where we had completely different versions of characters that exist already.
Yeah.
We got a new version of Psylocke. We got a new version of not Sabretooth, Ember Frost and stuff like that. I'm hoping to see some of the characters they did ruin, them fix. You know what I mean? Gambit would be a really cool one.
You know, a character I always like, I know I always liked him, and a lot of people don't seem to, Cyclops.
Who doesn't like Cyclops?
A lot of people kind of consider him more of like a Boy Scout type.
Well, that's the issue. They don't read comics, man. No, Cyclops had some problems.
Yeah,
man.
he did. And that's why I really like Cyclops. I think Cyclops, next to Wolverine and Nightcrawler, is my favorite, because I really like Nightcrawler as well.
But I think that's what the original trilogy got really good about Cyclops, is they didn't make him such a two-dimensional Boy Scout. He had issues, you know what I mean?
But I wouldn't mind seeing like a movie about just him. You know, and I thought it was weird that his brother Havoc is older than him.
Yeah.
When Havoc is technically supposed to be younger.
But they had to change it up because of, First Class.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, though, these X-Men movies keep making money, and they're going to keep making them. And at the end of the day, I've liked more of them than I've hated.
I agree. I can agree with that. I think the only one I really hated, honestly, was the third one.
So even that one had its moments for me.
It had good moments, but I didn't like it compared to 2, which I thought was really good. And the first X-Men I thought was good. I didn't like any of the Wolverine movies until Logan.
I liked Wolverine until the last bit of it. I feel like those movies were potentially getting better.
Yeah, Logan was really good.
Logan was amazing. Do you see Gambit doing well?
No.
I see it doing well if they introduce other characters.
Oh, if they put Deadpool in it, I guarantee it will.
Not Deadpool, but like reintroduce Sabretooth in this movie.
I agree, but I'm saying I think Deadpool right now sells. You know what I mean? There's so many people that love Deadpool. If you do a trailer and Deadpool's a cameo in the movie, people will go see it. Doesn't sell us on it.
Yeah. That last trailer that dropped for Deadpool, where he's in front of Logan's grave. I mean, it killed on the internet. I think that thing's been shared like 1 billion times already, and it's a 46-second trailer. You know? Yeah. That has nothing to do with the movie at all.
No. Let's move on to the last bit of TV movie news, because it's this one's going to be a long podcast. It's already 47 minutes in. Justice League is getting a TV series, I guess. What? Is it the CW?
What?
I'm asking you. You're the big fan of this.
CW, so far, we're getting Black Lightning. I'm figuring this is where they've been heading, so when I heard this, I'm guessing. I haven't heard that it's CW, but they're getting a Black Lightning TV series at the end of this, and then Teen Titans premieres next year.
Yes.
So I'm not shocked that this has all been heading towards
a Justice League.
A Justice League. With that being said, I'm also not shocked because CW has finally did something fans have been waiting for years for them to do. And this is a spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't caught up on Arrow this season. Skip ahead like 5 minutes. But they finally dropped Bruce Wayne's name in the TV series. To the point where, like, everybody online lost their mind. You know what I mean? Like, his name. They've always hinted to Batman. They hinted to Gotham. They've hinted to Blue Haven, Nightwing. But they finally actually said Bruce Wayne's name on the TV series, or Arrow. So
do we know what that means for CW? Did they get the rights to it? Because we know Gotham is still going on, that show.
They've always had the rights to Batman. The issue, or a Batman-like character, the issue they've always had is they never wanted, the same reason why Superman doesn't show up very often in the show, they don't want to conflict with the movies. Okay. So
you think Warner Brothers is part of the
problem? You mean, yeah. So, and I honestly think, but with that being said, we already have 2 different versions of the Flash already going, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Superman show up in the show, because he's already shown up a few times. So cast an actor for him. What I'm really ready for is them for next season to have Batman probably show up in Arrow.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
How do you think that's going to work? Because Oliver Queen in Arrow is a lot like Batman instead of him actually being like Oliver Queen.
Absolutely. And that's what I was wondering. And I've actually thought about this. To me, there's 2 options. Either if you're into the Arrow universe, you know that although Supergirl and Arrow and Flash are all on the same channel, they're not in the same universe. Supergirl is on Earth like 4 or 5, and they're on Earth 1. So I'm thinking if they ever do bring Batman in, he'll be from Supergirl's world.
Okay.
That way they kind of have that Arrow and him character like, and they can even do like that running joke like you're kind of this world's version of me. You know what I mean? Even if Batman was like, oh, we have a version of Green Arrow in my world, nothing like you though.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
I wasn't sure if you thought maybe they would pull an Eric on him too.
They could
just flip the switch on Oliver Queen. And
well,
make him this joke.
they have been loosening up on like the seriousness of Oliver every season. They kind of been chipping away from like him being such a brooding character. You know what I mean? The issue is, and what people don't realize, is it still runs on CW. They're dramas. That's what they're going to be. So you always have to have that drama element. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't really have him being that snarky guy like that if he's going to be, you know, in a dramatic show.
I can understand that.
I would like to see the goatee come back one day.
That would be nice.
That'd be nice. With the little hat and everything.
Let's keep it with superhero news, but now we're going to move on to some video game news. Marvel vs. Capcom.
You mean wallet news?
Yeah. Let's talk about the characters first, because that was something... We'll do that first, then we'll get to the bad news.
All right, so I put a little video up yesterday. Just playing with the characters. Nothing too serious. It's me and my son playing. But I did get to try all 3 of the new characters.
Okay.
Monster Hunter stole the show.
Monster Hunter was the one I was most excited
She is so fun to play with, and what I really like about her is, you know, I'm really into fast characters.
She's not fast.
Huh?
She is not fast. She's kind of like an in-between,
I'd say she's pretty fast, but that's what I like about her. You can switch up her fighting style.
That's...
Where she can be slow and strong and heavy. I think that is amazing. And I also just love her dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, these weapons were never supposed to be used on man, but I will do what I must. Like yes. Black Panther is really cool. I do like his alternate confidence. Stigma...
Sigma's not doing anything?
He's good, and I've seen people tearing it up online with him. He's slow, though, and I've never been into
Because a lot
characters.
of people say that Sigma, out of the 3, is the best of the 3.
He's fun. He's good for those like pop-up combos. He actually reminds me a lot of Ultron.
Okay.
Which is not shocking. But for the first 3, this is actually really cool. I do like the way they fit in. But with that being said, Monster Hunter
stole it for you.
She already came part of my new... I kicked Gamora out, and I feel really bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really wish I could have 3. Just
like the old Marvel
yeah, so
days.
I could have her, but she is pretty nasty.
It's kind of funny because myself, when all 3 came out, I got on the game, and the first thing I did was change my team portrait that's in the background from Dormammu and Ultron to Dormammu and Monster Hunter.
So I also like her other skin in the game.
I do like that they gave us, for all 3 characters, both of their premium skins without having to charge me for them.
Right.
Which that leads to the next thing. And this is the thing that I think you and me are both a bit upset about.
I'm just going to take everybody on a history lesson. Back in the day, when you bought a video game, there was DLC. Or, for the smart shopper, there was what?
Game of the Year edition. Season Pass.
Season
yeah,
Pass, okay. When you got the Season Pass, what did that mean?
Man, you got all the DLC.
Everything.
Slightly discounted because, you know, it was cheaper to get the Season Pass than it was to buy all the DLC.
So it made it worth it for the person. Now, what are we getting?
So, first we had the Character Pass that you got if you bought the $90 edition of Marvel vs. Capcom, which you and me did. Which means we get the 6 new characters that they come out with. 3 already have come out, and the other 3 apparently are supposed to come out before the end of the year. A little upsetting. But now they also just released 18 new skins.
Oh, so we get it for free, though, right?
No, we don't. Those are not a part of the Character Pass.
We get a discount.
No. So you can either buy each skin individually for $3.99.
$4 a skin for 18 of them.
Yes. Or you can buy, they have, I believe it's 3 available packs for $11.99. Or you can buy the Season Pass skin pack, which will give you all 18 of Wave 1 for $29.99.
Well, that's good, though, because you get every other skin for the rest of the game, right?
Nope, only Wave 1. You only get all of Wave 1.
Okay, so let me try to understand this, Doctor. You're telling me that I spent $90 on a game and only are getting the characters with it.
Yes.
And if I want to get skins for it, all the skins for this game, I'll have to spend another $30.
Yep.
How much is that we're up to now?
That's $60 just for DLC.
DLC. And with that being said, potentially after this, not even potentially, for sure, there's going to be even more skins.
We know that there's going to be more skins. They did say that there's at least going to be one more wave of skins, of premium skins. Because what they did was they gave half the roster this time all new premium skins. And the second half of the roster is supposed to come with wave 2. So we do know that. And we can pretty much guarantee, there's no confirmation on this, they've never came out and said it, that after these 6 characters are released, they're probably going to release more.
My issue with this is, what is a season?
See, before, when you bought a season pass, like we said, it covered everything for the year, or at least, the entirety of the game. Some games did have content that came out for more than a year, and you would still get that stuff. Some games, it's only covered for the year, like Destiny, and that's understandable.
A season.
Yeah. I'm starting to think for fighting games, because they seem to be the ones that really are doing this, these character season passes and stuff. I think they're literally going off of 4 seasons, and each season gets a pass, because that's the only logical explanation I can think of.
Is it, though? Because when did Marvel Capcom come out?
It just came out, like, September or something.
Right.
Really late September.
So is this summer? Will they give summer? Is this considered our winter?
I think this is our fall season pass. Because I think the last 3 characters have to come out before 2018. So that means the latest thing can probably come out is sometime in December. It's already October.
It really is annoying me because, like I said before, this was one company was like, I bet you we can get multiple season pass. Every other company was like, no. We got lucky with this DLC. Let's not try this.
I mean, Injustice 2, too, though, they did it first.
And that's my issue, and it's now everybody's doing it. And my big issue with it is now people are going to start doing this. No longer buying the special edition means anything. You know what I mean? This just means I can get even more money out of you now.
Yeah, and what also really sucks, too, is I feel like a lot of these characters, we complained about the roster from the beginning. These characters are the new characters. Why weren't these the characters that were just in the game already? Why aren't the DLC characters the old characters that I can choose if I want them?
Yes.
I didn't ask for Arthur.
No, nobody asked for Arthur.
I want Beautiful Joe again. I want, I wanted Monster Hunter.
I
still want Onimusha.
When is this going to end?
I don't think it will, and I don't think even if, at this point, I don't think there are enough of us to say... to stop. I feel like if you and me stop giving them money, which I don't think, unless the next characters, I like all of them, I'm not going to probably get the season pass for the next batch of characters. I will probably only buy the characters I want, if I'm even still playing this game by then.
That's my issue, is now where does it end? Am I going to eventually, like, Street Fighter, I'm not going to buy, I'm surprised I bought Marvel Capcom, because I'll never buy another Street Fighter, because of how disgusting 5 was. And I feel like had 5 done better review-wise and sales-wise, they probably would continue doing crap like that. So that's where I'm afraid that I'm going to buy, the next, I don't know, adventure game, and the game's going to load up, and then I'm going to go hit start, and it's like, oh, the start? That's an additional $5.99 DLC. Okay, hit that. Let me go to options, put subtitles on. Oh, you want options? It's $10 for DLC. Like, yeah. I honestly feel like that's the direction we're going with this DLC nightmare that's coming.
Because PC gamers did find an alternate look for the entire Marvel's Capcom game. It's like a comic layout where it looks like Marvel's Capcom 3.
And it looks so much better.
It does. And it almost makes you wonder, like, is that just going to be DLC later? Like, why?
But it's in the game already. That's the worst part of it.
It's just locked. So it's like, is that going to be an update, or are you going to charge me for that too? Because that's a little upsetting.
I think there was that big hurrah with Street Fighter 4 about that, when they talked about the first group of DLC characters you had to pay for, and then people hacked in the game. They're like, they're in the game. They're just behind a paywall.
Yeah.
This is BS. You know what I mean? And what I don't think people really understand, what DLC is supposed to be is additional content for the game.
Yeah.
Which means the reason you're paying for it is because they had to manufacture it and digitally put it in your game now. That's what you're paying for. Yeah. If you put something in the game and put it behind a paywall, that's not DLC. Okay? That's you being a jackass.
Yeah. So how do we feel about this? You upset?
Pissed?
Yeah.
Mad? I do point where I haven't even looked at the skins yet. Because I know what? I glanced at one and I almost bought it, and that's what made me mad. It's the Marvel Thor one that looks like Thor from the movies.
Yep.
Looks amazing. And I was like, nope, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to want every one.
I was a little annoyed with the Dante alternate skin they went with. It's the DMC one.
See, I like that Dante.
I do like that Dante too. Don't get me wrong. I really like DMC. My problem is Capcom likes to pretend that didn't happen anymore, but they keep trying to be like, hey, here, remember this? Like, we already know that there have been voice actors that have come out and said that they are working on DMC 5. Like, regular Devil May Cry 5. Not continuing the DMC franchise. So it's like, if you didn't like DMC that much, that you're not going to support it anymore, why am I still getting that skin?
Exactly.
Give me Devil May Cry 1 Dante. Or 2 Dante.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, nobody liked 2, man.
I think he looked cool, but the game was bad. I agree with that.
Devil May Cry 1 and then skipped to 3, remember?
Yes, yeah. Or 4.
Then there was 4. There was Devil May Cry 1, 2. See, I did it. Now you're
1,
tricking me.
3, 4.
4. That's it. That's all we had. Although I did like DMC. I see what you're saying, but in my mind, there's people like me that actually like that way Dante looked in that game. Did I prefer it over original Dante? No, but I thought it was a cool...
I think the best look Dante's had is in 3. And then I would say the first game, he looked really good.
I see. I like the... now you got me talking about... I did like the suit he had in 2. You
I know. Because it's a good looking suit.
Yeah.
And the way his hair was in 2 was great.
Oh, but it's such a bad game.
It was a bad game. And the worst part is, the way that they ended that game is, that has to always be the end of the timeline. Like, that is the last Devil May Cry, technically.
Yeah. Well, they can always Days of Future Past it. So, but no, I'm actually really, really pissed at Marvel vs. Capcom for this. I think this is ludicrous. And I do think as video game fans and people, we really need to start talking with our wallets. And I know we're the worst for saying this because we both spent $90 on the game.
Yeah, but I do agree. I think there's going to have to start being games that it's like, you know what, I'm not supporting this. You know.
So, but I also feel as people get a little older and as we've got older, we've started to do that. Because like I said, I will never buy another Street Fighter game. I refuse to go see the last Pirates and last Michael Bay Transformer movie.
You know what?
You're not getting me.
I kind of saw the breadcrumbs for this game being disappointing, and I still got it. I think next time, I'm just going to pass on it. Or wait for a sale.
Nice hard pass. While we're on the subject of DLC, I wanted to bring this up. Big controversy online about the last Lord of the Rings, Shadow War, as a DLC.
Yeah. It has it does have microtransactions. I played a lot of Shadow of War, and I can tell you right now, those microtransactions don't matter.
Well, my issue is I watched one video where they said once you get to a certain point in the game, it becomes so ludicrously difficult that they kind of were like, hey, if you get this microtransaction, the game will be a little easier, you sure? And it's just like, you either have to do microtransaction or grind for 10 hours in the game to kind of get past that. That, like I said, I haven't played it myself. You have it, but that's one of the things I heard the game does.
I haven't had that issue, and the game also gives you the currency for free in the game to buy these chests.
Right.
I don't think I've ever ran out of the currency, and I've bought chests. They do have tiers of chests. It's silver, gold, mithril. Obviously, the higher the tier... Yeah, mithril. It's a mineral that's in Lord of the Rings.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, if you obviously the higher chest tier you buy, the more guarantee you have of getting better loot. But I've gotten silver. I only get silver chests. Those are the only chests you're allowed to get with the regular in-game currency. Otherwise, you do have to get gold chests and mithril. You have to use real money that you don't have to buy. Get. I've only done silver, and I've gotten upgrades every time. I've never once gotten something and was like, this is a waste. And anything you disenchant, you have the option to break down, you get the currency again.
Well, we'll see.
Personally, this is I haven't, like I said, I kind of stopped playing the game for Fractured Butthole.
We'll touch back on that, but that was something I've seen a couple times in the line that people were saying that it seemed like a bit of a scam because everybody got to this point and it was just a little too difficult to pass.
I'm really curious what that point is, but I'll look into it and maybe talk about it next week.
Point of no return.
Yeah. EA. Let's get on to them.
EA.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are letters in the alphabet.
Electronic Arts. So they shut down Visceral Games. They were making a Star Wars game with Amy Hennings, and there's kind of...
Now, is that... I'm getting miscommunicated. Is that the one that they originally showed
1313?
Yeah.
No. That was LucasArts before Disney bought Star Wars and got rid of everything. LucasArts was making another Star Wars game, which was Star Wars 1313.
13.
And they did show it off a long time ago.
Yeah, I did. Remember, it looked amazing.
It did look amazing. And I was so mad when Disney bought it, and the first thing they did was shut everything down that was going on. So that game got canceled. And then we found out after it got canceled, LucasArts came out and said that was going to be our Boba Fett origin game. So I was really mad because Boba Fett's my favorite character. And
He's
I was
the
like,
greatest bounty hunter ever, man.
yeah. And I was like, finally, I'm going to get something that like leads into it. No, we weren't getting it. But so now we know Amy Hennings was working on a game. We did get a small teaser of a character walking out. It looked like it was Tatooine. We saw some banners and stuff like that. It looked like it was going to take place with the New Order. It doesn't look like it was going to be in the past. But that game got canceled. It was going to be linear, and it was supposed to be an action adventure.
My favorite kind of game.
I do love those games. But apparently it got canceled. Apparently EA... there's two sides to this, and I don't really know what to believe. Because I can understand both sides.
Well, I have one trouble with one of the sides, but I'll let you tell both of them, and I'll tell you what I have trouble believing.
Okay, so EA says that they brought in testers to play the game, and that the feedback they got from the game was that the game wasn't good, it wasn't fun, and it wasn't working out. And EA, rightfully so, was like, we put a lot of money into this. This game has been worked on since we got the deal with Disney. They have exclusive rights to Star Wars games right now, and I'm sure they don't want to mess that up. This game has been worked on for a long time. We put a lot of money into it. The direction isn't working. We're going to give it to someone else, and we're just going to scrap it and change it to something else. I can understand that if this is true, I can understand that from EA's point of view. You put a lot of money into something, you're putting a lot of faith into a team, they're not delivering, and they're asking for more time and more money. So I can get it if that's the case. Now, Visceral's team is saying that the game was fun and it was funny and it was gonna be a really good action adventure game, and it was panning out that way. And they made it sound like EA was a little more upset that they couldn't put more DLC into it and microtransactions, because the new Star Wars game that now EA is going to do is going to be open world. It's not going to be a linear game.
Oh, shock! Another open world game.
So what do you think?
Okay, well, here's my issue with the first story. You said testers came in and said that the game wasn't no fun, anything like that. My issue with that is it's still a Star Wars game. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I feel like people would have came in and automatically given it an applause for that. Number two, how many bad games just come out, over the years and just get released?
Yeah.
Where are the testers there,
I agree with that.
Where were the testers for Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts? Or were the testers for Battlefront 1?
I liked Battlefront 1.
Oh, the online-only game?
Yeah.
The one that I couldn't do anything but play online?
Yeah.
The one that...
You don't like online, though. So that,
I don't like... Okay, I don't like paying full price for a game that's only online.
Okay, anyway.
Point being, I just don't see that happening. And I do see a situation where I feel like they're going to... They want to do the... Like I said, microtransactions seem like they're coming out everywhere, and I honestly feel like that's the direction they wanted to go. So maybe I'm crazy, though. Maybe it's not the case.
I mean, we'll see. I was really excited about this game. Another Star Wars game is going to be linear. I'm kind of getting a little exhausted with open world games.
Well, that's my other issue. It's like, I feel like they're oversaturating the market right now with just open world games, man. Everything's open world.
Yeah.
And even when you do think you're getting a linear game, they're like, tricked you, it's open world.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
I just kind of want, and I think that's what I like so far about Wolfenstein. It doesn't seem like it's open world. Hopefully it's not. It seems like it's going to be linear, mission based, just like the first game.
Your linear mission. Do you think, since Disney has since Disney purchased LucasArts, do you think we've gotten any decent Star Wars titles?
Yeah. You mean game-wise or
game-wise?
I would say that just Battlefront 1 was good for what it was multiplayer-wise, but I can see how fans would be disappointed for not getting a story.
Right.
And from what we're hearing about Battlefront 2, the story's really good. People have already played it, and they're saying that the story looks like it's going to be really good and looks like it's going to pan out. That makes me excited.
Right.
And I think movie-wise, Disney has done a good job as well. Granted, The Force Awakens wasn't original but I do think that it did a good job of hitting us with the feels at the right place, adding the right comedy, making characters that we love, even though the story, was pretty much A New Hope.
I agree with you.
And
on
the same
that.
thing with Rogue One.
Yeah. I am worried that, this is the transaction or the way Disney's going with their, not Disney, but the way Star Wars games are going, or they're all going to be this big, massive opening games and stuff like that. And sometimes I do want something a little more simple, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I am going to be just honest. I was really disappointed with Battlefront because of Battlefront 2 for PlayStation 2. It's one of the greatest games I've ever played, man.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to something like that. I didn't get it.
No, you did not.
Still mad about that.
I'm sorry.
I want them to remake Republic Commander, and I'll be happy.
Sticking with EA and Star Wars, Battlefront 2, they have no plans of bringing it to the Switch.
With the shock.
I don't know why this... Technically, I almost don't know why I made this news, but it was
Well,
all
because
over
it is. Because, people are all talking about online how well the Switch is doing sales-wise, stuff like that. But, people like to avoid that negative news. We're here to give it to them, okay?
Yeah.
I got some bad news for you. How
Now,
did FIFA do on the Switch?
It didn't do well. And I think that, that's EA's main point. They're like, hey, we tried to support the Switch. We gave you guys FIFA. Which FIFA actually is EA's best-selling sports game.
Right.
Because globally, football is, soccer. It sells everywhere,
Right.
Madden really only sells big in America. So, FIFA was their way of being like, hey, the Switch is doing well. We're going to put our biggest sports game on it. Mm-hmm. And it didn't do well, so... I can get it. And at the same time, it didn't look as good. And I'm sure that they're like, you know what, we're not even going to try to figure out a way to get Star Wars Battlefront 2 running on that when it was hard enough to get FIFA, which FIFA
and
isn't
it potentially won't sell at all. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Completely. And it is a numbers games. I said it before. Nintendo has really got to be careful not to fall in the same trap that the Wii U did and the Wii, that only your first party games are amazing on it.
Yeah.
Everything else. And they kind of do fall in that trap because they're so stubborn and set in their ways that they won't come forward, or not come forward, whatever that word is, to try anything new. So, this little stand disc that you want to put your games on, make it really hard to develop for.
Yeah, and then making the console only have 32 gigs of internal memory makes it hard. I get it. It was a way to keep costs down, too. That's why the system was only $300.
You're $300.
But at the same time, it's almost like you have a system that... I don't even see how Bethesda personally is willing to keep putting games out. Like, we keep hearing Bethesda announcing more and more games. And it's like, you didn't even see how Doom has sold yet.
No, and I
or Skyrim.
Yeah, well, I do see Skyrim doing well.
I do too. Only because it was a last generation game. If that doesn't run well on a Switch, then there's some big problems.
Yeah, besides that, I feel like it's been long enough. I mean, we did just get the remake.
I was going to say, I think every year we've gotten a Skyrim.
Yeah, I think we just did, but I think it's been long enough for people that haven't got to play it or anything like that, or only played the 360 or PS3 version to be like, oh, I'll pick it back up for the Switch. Doom, on the other hand, I feel like we just got that 2 days ago on the PlayStation 4, and now it's coming out on the Switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was thinking about picking it up because it's coming out on the Switch. And then I thought to myself, why? Why would I do that? Why would I waste potentially $60 to play a game I have already finished?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's not going to look as good.
And not only did I already finish, I traded it in because I was done playing it. You know what I mean? So that's just, to me, that's me setting up myself for failure. I'm going to pay $60 to play it on the Switch again, beat it, and then trade it back in.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. I don't know. I saw an article where people were talking about how the Switch is going to make you run out of money in your wallet because of all the games that are coming to it. And I don't necessarily think that while I agree, if you're a Switch owner now, you are getting a lot of games. But I think that's just the case with any console, not just the Switch. There's a lot of great games coming out for the PS4 and Xbox One that the Switch isn't getting.
Right.
Look at Evil Within 2, South Park Fractured Butthole, Wolfenstein 2. While the Switch is getting it, you're not getting it until sometime next year.
Yeah, and we also don't know how it's going to look or run. So, like I said, I kind of I would want to get Doom just to be able to try it out on the Switch and see how it runs, but not enough to drop it for $60.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh, why?
All right, finally on the news. Let's talk about Sony.
What about Sony?
They started a new, what was it? A new publishing label to bring games to the Nintendo Switch and PC.
What's NBC?
NPC.
MB what?
And PC.
And PC.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Anyway, so what do you think of this? A lot of people, for some odd reason, have these unreal expectations of this. First off, it's not Sony Entertainment Interactive, not the people that make the games for the PS4. It's going to be a smaller studio. It's Sony Music Entertainment.
So what do you think kind of games we're getting with this? I mean,
It's just going to probably be small third-party games.
Like?
The first one they are getting is, I believe it's called Tiny Metal, which is going to be kind of like an Advance Wars game. I'm pretty sure you're going to get more of like the indie titles type stuff.
Well, if that's the case, it would be more just a disappointment on the Switch then, because I feel like that's all the Switch online is right now. Is nothing but third-party cell phone games.
But guess what? Those games are selling because there's nothing else on the Switch. So, and why a lot of people for some odd reason thought when this happened, I saw people say, "Oh, no reason to own a PS4 anymore because I'm probably going to get Uncharted now on the Switch." No, you're not going to get Uncharted on the Switch. You're not going to get Horizon on the Switch.
Why would people think that?
I don't know, because they're stupid.
I guess so. If you thought that, though, I do apologize. I called you stupid.
But I did see people on the internet saying that. They're like, oh, wow, the Switch is now, Sony must be going on.
I feel like people have always had a tendency of reading a few lines and being like, oh, this is what this means.
Just reading the headline. Yeah.
And I can agree with that. Is it good news for the Switch that they're opening up deals? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's fine. But it's more useless hardware on it. You know what I mean? I made that mistake. You know that when the Switch came out, I bought everything on that marketplace. And then what happened? I got myself burnt out. To the point where there's actual releases on the Switch. I was like, I'm just not going to get it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
I turned my Switch on for the first time today in a long time.
How'd it work?
It still works. Mm-hmm. Turned it on. Looked at the marketplace, turned it right back off.
Not on the marketplace.
There's nothing I want to play still.
No.
And I thought maybe, I was like, oh, maybe I'll pick up something for the Switch. Pick it up, play it a little bit again. No, like, nothing has...
Mario Odyssey comes out on the 27th.
Yeah. And
it's gotten 10 so far.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm pretty sure everyone wears their Nintendo shades all the time. It's like horses on a racetrack. You can't see anything.
Well... I mean, what direction do you see the Switch doing? How's it doing in sales right now compared to...
The Switch is doing really well.
So PS4 is obviously at top. What's number 2?
I think right now it's getting close technically the Xbox One is still ahead of the Switch.
Right.
So that would be number 2.
Do you see it ever one day topping the Xbox One in sales? 'Cause obviously it's not going to touch a PS4.
No. I do think it's going to top the Xbox One.
Only because PS4 is right now this close to topping the PS2, which is the highest selling system of all time still.
Yeah.
And there's so many different versions of the PS4 too. You know what I mean? I just see it just doing really, really well.
I think Sony really had the perfect storm this generation with their console. But I don't get me wrong, Nintendo's killing it right now with the Switch. It's selling out. The problem is we still don't see a stable stock. You know what I mean? We don't know if people are buying it because the Switch is a good piece of hardware and it has the games people want, or if they're buying it because I never see this thing on the shelf. I don't really want anything for it, but I better pick it up now because I'm not going to see it later. Kind of like with the Wii, you know what I mean?
Kind of like the SNES and the NES Classic, kind of,
Yeah.
The reason it's so selling so well is, like you said, people won't know if they're going to see it again, kind of thing. I don't know. I hope to see a jump in quality. I do want to see a virtual console, though, eventually on the Switch.
We talked about that, though. And it honestly, the longer we don't get a virtual console, or they haven't even talked about it anymore.
That's what's really annoying me is I left the Wii U alone, which had Wii games I could get on there. Nintendo 64 games, Super Nintendo games. I had Metroid Prime Trilogy downloaded on my Wii U. I gave that
to your son.
To my son, thinking I'm getting the new Nintendo system, I'll just re-download everything on there. And I've had it for, almost a year now?
It's about halfway there.
Yeah.
Because it came out in March.
March it came out, that's right. And nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, man.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I get it. The Switch is getting games. One, in my opinion, they're all games that I've already played somewhere else.
L.A. Noire.
Yeah, and I mean, I am getting LA Noire again, but I'm not getting it on the Switch. I'm going to get it on my PS4. Like,
I can understand that. I do feel, it is annoying too to know that you're dropping the quality. Because that's the first thing. I picked up Sonic on my Switch.
Mania?
Yeah, Mania. And it was funny that I did that because I looked up immediately afterwards to see what the difference was on the PS4 version versus the Switch. And luckily, most of the reviews said they were almost identical in game-wise. But it made me think in my head, if I was going to do that for this game, I'm probably going to do that for every game, so I'm probably just better off getting on my PS4. So something like Sonic Forces, which there is going to be a huge drop in quality from the PS4 version to the Switch. Which version do you think I want to get?
PS4.
Exactly.
Yeah, and everyone always says to me, and I don't know, I get that this is an argument I guess you can make. Everyone's always like, at least though when you buy something on the Switch, while it may not look the best, you're technically getting two versions of the game, because you can take it on the go with you and you can play it at home. But my Switch doesn't leave, it's like, I play it in handheld all the time.
My issue is the opposite with me. I don't ever take it on the road.
Yeah.
I have my DS for that, and I love my DS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? DS and me are best friends. We do a lot together. We talk about feelings. We go on picnics. It combs my hair. We have slumber parties. It's fantastic.
So while I do think this is good for Switch users, because you're going to get more games that Sony's going to put on there, I think it's actually more beneficial for Sony.
Absolutely.
Sony's looking at it like, hey, you guys, people are buying games on here. They're pretty much buying anything they can get, because that's what's literally happening on the Switch right now. Sony's like, let's just dip into that. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. Do you see other companies doing this? Microsoft?
I don't think Microsoft will, only because Microsoft hasn't really done it in the past. Sony has done it before. Nintendo's done it before. Konami's done it before. So this doesn't really surprise me as much. Sega.
Well, yeah, Sega's a big one. All right. So, you don't think we'll get any mainstream Sony games on it whatsoever?
No.
Maybe some re-releases of PS2 games?
No. I don't.
Nothing?
Mm-mm.
All right.
The only thing I think you could ever maybe get, and this is even a big maybe, is the new Spider-Man game. And that would be way down the road.
I can see that.
But I don't see any big Sony game going to there. Even if it's a PS2 big game. You know what I mean?
Alrighty.
So that's about it for
That's the news?
Yeah.
That's it? Nothing else? No paperboy to give me the good news?
Nope.
Alright. For those who listened and made it through this amazing podcast, I hate to be that guy, but we really need your likes. You get a couple views, and we appreciate that. Go ahead and hit that like, I'm going to be that guy and beg for it at this time. Only on the basis of...
Your WWE videos got some likes.
Yeah, 4.
It's more than usual.
Okay.
You also got some dislikes. But it's funny because your video was the first time people really liked, but it's also the first time people disliked.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to break it down this way. YouTube is very weird, and with their algorithms, it doesn't matter how many views you get anymore. It's how many likes you get. So, for us to get pushed up to the top of that. So, although we appreciate your views, we really do. Sorry, hit that like button. Please.
It really goes a long way. It helps us. Give us some feedback too. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Do you want a second character skin pack season pass?
Do you want millions of microtransactions? Do you want us to put microtransactions in this podcast?
Would you like to hear our opinion on the season pass? That'll be $5.
$5 extra.
Extra. We don't charge anything.
Good point. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, my enthusiast pick, because someone wanted to skip right over that.
Oh, I apologize. I just went on begging for likes. That's it.
I know. You really want them.
I do.
So I'm actually going to say that mine is going to be Star Ocean. The
old RPG?
The one on the PS2.
Which is still an old RPG, Star Ocean?
It is.
It's a good game.
It is. And
it's really random.
It's on the PS4.
Is it on the PS4?
Yeah, they re-released it on the PS4.
Really? When?
A couple months ago. I've had it. I just haven't had a chance to play it again, and I dipped back into it.
So it's the old PS2 version they re-released?
Yep, with trophies.
Shut your mouth.
I will not.
I'm sorry. I know this is your pick and your moment. This is a fun game.
Yep.
How much is it on the marketplace?
$14.99.
Oh, I'm gonna hit you with that girl meme. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's a good job. I actually like one of your picks for once.
Wow.
I mean, I always do. But that one's really good, actually. Wow. That's a fun game.
It is. It is really good. And it's a classic.
It is.
And I wasn't going to... I probably wouldn't have recommended it if it wasn't on the PS4. Because, I didn't want people to have to hunt it down.
Hunt down a PS2.
Yeah.
Fight somebody. Kind of understand. Even though, according to PS2 sales, everybody still has one in their house.
I mean, there's one right in this room.
There's 3 in this house.
Yeah, but there's one right in this room. I'm looking right at it.
But there's literally 3 in this house and locations. It's a PS2. But Star Ocean, what a good choice, man. Tell them a little about the game so they can get into it.
It's an RPG.
Okay, real-time or turn-based?
That's where it's kind of weird. It's a little more real-time. It's kind of one of the early real-time RPGs, I would say. So you play as a blue-haired character.
Why not?
Yeah. And, I believe the title was The Last Hope. I can't quite remember, but the game was really good. I would definitely just give it a shot. It's if you're into RPGs.
Do you remember the case for it?
It was holographic.
Yeah, man, it was so cool.
It was the first game I saw do that, and then Kingdom Hearts did it shortly after. But yeah, I really enjoyed that case. And then I was playing the game again, and I was like, man, this holds up pretty well still.
That's why I might actually look into getting that again. Probably gonna do it when we go back upstairs. It's funny.
I don't blame you.
I really like Star Ocean. Hey, what a good pick, man. Good
Thanks,
for
man.
you.
I try.
Good
really
for
hard.
you.
So tomorrow, which you guys won't know because this podcast will go up either the day that it's happening or after, we have the Library Comic Book Convention in Vineland, New Jersey happening. We will be hosting 3 panels.
Count them 3.
3. We are hosting the comic book panel, which will go over the future, present, and past of comics to let you know where comic books currently stand.
See what comic books are like.
Yes. We will be hosting the voice acting panel, where we will be talking about, exactly what voice actors do, how they kind of influence people, because I really don't think that people get what these voice actors can do for you.
And we brought Walt Disney back to life, and he's going to explain it all to us.
I wish. But sure. And finally, we are going to be doing a panel, just us, on Podcasting 101. We're going to go over kind of the things that we do, how we got our podcast started. And
don't be shy and boastful, man. We edit a good video. And by we, I mean you edit an amazing video.
Thanks.
Okay? I mean, they're good.
I put in your Wonder Woman smile in the last one.
Oh, gosh.
As soon as you said it, I made it pop up.
Oh, did you see her smile at me? Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. One day, she told me she loved me, and it was really weird.
Because you're married.
Well, it was, and through the TV, because she was on the red carpet, and I was like, I love you, and she, turned and was like, I love you, and it was to me, even though it was through the TV, it was so obvious.
I know what you mean, because I was walking down the red carpet after you, and Ben Affleck looked at me and blew me a kiss, and I caught it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really know what to do with it, so I just kind of put it in my pocket.
And it's still been there. Did you wash it by mistake?
No.
Oh,
I just put it in a jar.
Fair enough.
But this has been episode 46 of The Enthusiast. If you like what you heard, hit that like button. If you didn't like what you heard, well, we know that you figured it out. The dislike button works.
Yep. And it hurts, by the way. Every one of them. Woo.
So if you dislike it, I guess, you can hit it. It's, but at least leave us a comment as to why. I really hate when someone's like, oh, I hate something, but they don't explain why they don't like it.
It's easy to be brave over a keyboard, my brother.
It is. You're not wrong. Anyway, you can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and our website. And Facebook. I don't think I said Facebook. Yeah, I did. And Facebook.
Yes.
But this has been episode 46 of The Enthusiast, and we are gone.
Peace.
your